Welcome to the Fast News, the latest show giving you all you need to know from the world of Formula One, from news to drama. I am your host, Amy Cole, and this is what happened this week. So first off, the biggest news to come out of F1 in a hot minute. Daniel Ricciardo is back, baby, with the announcement coming on the 11th of June that he will be replacing Nyck de Vries at the AlphaTauri team from the Hungarian GP this weekend. The Australian lost his full-time seat in Formula One with Mclaren at the end of last season, but luckily returned to the Red Bull team as a third and reserve driver for this season. He is now technically on loan to AlphaTauri for the remainder of the year. Franz Tost, the team principal of AlphaTauri, thanked Nyck de Vries for his contribution to the team and said of Ricciardo, "I'm very pleased to welcome Daniel back into the team. There's no doubt about his driving skills and he already knows many of us, so his integration will be easy and straightforward. The team will also profit a lot from his experience as he is an 8-time Formula One Grand Prix winner." This also opens up the door for Daniel for a potential move to the Red Bull senior team come the end of the season. However, with silly season coming earlier this year, he's not the only one linked to that seat. There always seems to be rumours going around about that second Red Bull seat, and this week was no exception. In fact, it was off the charts, with many current drivers on the grid being linked to that seat as silly season finally begins. First off, Lando Norris, who has reportedly been approached by Red Bull previously, and who both Christian Horner and Helmut Marko have spoken of very highly in the media. On top of that, both him and Max Verstappen are very good friends and both have esports teams, making them sort of the perfect fit. So, compared to some other people on this list, this one has legs. Speaking of, there is also his younger teammate Oscar Piastri, who started following not one, not two, but 4 different Red Bull accounts this week. As you can tell, us Aussies clearly love the team, myself included. That being said, he is also following half the teams on the grid, so, make of that what you will. Finally, Charles Leclerc as well. Guys, you don't realize they have a junior team to replace at the Red Bull team, and many junior drivers. They don't need to be poaching Ferrari's main guy. However, this might be a good move for Charles, considering Ferrari. But at the same time, it would mean 2 number ones on the team, and we already know Max is the number 1. So, we will see as the week plays out. These rumours were sparked as Checo Perez, the second driver at Red Bull, has not been performing so well. However, Christian Horner did come out this week in support of him, saying, "We're supporting him. We know he can do it. We know he'll get back there, and we're just trying to make sure it happens as quickly as possible." So at the moment, it all appears to be okay for the Mexican, but we thought the same for Nyck de Vries. So we will see as silly season unfolds. And I could not go this week without discussing McLaren and the upgrades, taking them from one of the lower down teams on the grid to second at the British Grand Prix, which, given where they were just a few weeks ago, is highly impressive. And with more upgrades coming in the weeks leading up to the summer break, they could begin to close their gap to the top teams on a more consistent basis. With CEO and team boss Zach Brown praising the new team principal Andrea Stella, stating, "The way he inherited what we had at the start of the year, recognized the challenges that we had, put in a technical restructure, and promoted people from within." With new signings such as Rob Marshall from Red Bull, it is beginning to look up for the Papaya team. Now for some quickfire news. Stefano Domenicali has said that F1 is thinking of introducing the idea of Grand Slams to the sport, for a driver on sprint weekends who gets both pole position and wins both races that weekend. Still pushing for the 11th team. On top of this, the head of F1 is still adamant that an 11th team entering the sport would be good, saying, "I'm not changing my mind." Ferrari team boss Fred Vasseur is hoping that the team can bounce back next weekend in Hungary after a disappointing Silverstone, with their drivers qualifying in 4th and 5th, but ultimately finishing 9th and 10th. Red Bull breaking records. Also, not to hype up Red Bull anymore, but if they win this weekend, they'll surpass McLaren's record from the 1960s of most consecutive race wins with 12. Wimbledon. Finally, several drivers were spotted enjoying Wimbledon this year after the Grand Prix, with besties Pierre and Charles going together high-key still looking like they're judging everyone and everything. Oscar Piastri was there with his girlfriend too, as well as George Russell, who looked every part the British gentleman that he is. And that was what you needed to know this week heading into the Hungarian Grand Prix. I will see you next time. Okay, so hi, this is a new format I am in fact trialing right now. So I need some advice in the comments down below if you guys are actually, interested in something like this. I've always wanted to do a little news show, so this is kind of fun for me. And also, if you have any sort of, recommendations for props and stuff, because I'm thinking of redoing this wall behind me with something more F1 themed, and getting a desk and everything. Mugs, if you can get me a fun Formula 1 mug, I will love you forever. So, preferably, props that are more neutral or meme-based, because, as you can tell, I'm not wearing my Red Bull stuff as usual. I'm trying to keep this as neutral as possible, even though I definitely praised Red Bull for half of that. But that should be expected. Yeah, so let me know down below if this is something you guys actually enjoyed. Okay, bye.